Welcome back here for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 985, we're going to talk about Nemata, Primeval Warden. Yes, your favorite tree folk. So for 4 mana, we get a 3/4 reach. That's nothing to do with tree folks, this deck. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Nice. When you do, make a Saproling token. I like Saprolings. So you can spend a green mana and sack a Saproling. Nemata gets +2 to end of turn. Okay. Spend generic and black, sacrifice 2 saplings to draw a card. So we have our pump and our card draw built into our reaching commander. Not bad. So, we are green and black. There is certain things that are inherent about Golgari that we love. Before we get to that, let's get to our ramp, shall we? Soul Ring, Golgari Signet, and Decanter of Endless Water. I love the Decanter. I swear it's great. Elf of Deep Shadows. Elf we don't get to use a lot because it's a green elf that taps for black mana. You know. Rampant Growth, Search for Tomorrow, and Mwamvali Acid Moss. Y'all know I like to have a little bit of spot land control in as many decks as I can. The Acid Moss does that. At 4 mana, it's not a heck of a deal, I understand. But it destroys one of their lands, i.e. their Maze of Ith, or anything else. And then you get to Rampant Growth, essentially. So, card draw. Now, green's ability to pump out creatures, the drawback is you empty your hand, but black's ability to draw cards for life payment make them a very good pair together. So, we have Sign in Blood, Night's Vision, Read the Bones, Painful Lesson, Ancient Craving, Shamanic Revelations, amazing. Now, body count, it is conditional, I know. Draw for 3 mana, you get to draw a card for each creature that died under your control this turn. Thank goodness it's an instant speed. Yeah, it's got the Spectacle. I don't know how many times that'll come in handy, but... Now, we have Minions Murmur. I am not responsible enough to play with this card. I am not. I hope that I don't draw it, because I will cast it. You draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of creatures you control. Now, I foresee that being a lot, and I will die. But that's me. And then, we're making Saprolings, right? What's the best Saproling card draw spell? Skull Clamp. I love it. Now, originally, I want to take y'all back. I want to take y'all back to 1994. Yeah, when we first got Saprolings. We got them by way of Thalids. So this is just regular Thalids. So green mana, 1/1. During your upkeep, you put a Spore counter on it. And you can remove 3 Spore counters to make a Saproling. There were several different types of Thalids back then. There was the only other one from that set I chose was Thalid Devourer. During your upkeep, it got a Spore counter. You can remove 3 to make a Saproling. Or you could sap a Saproling to give this +1/+2. Yeah, back in those days, the pluses weren't always square numbers. And then we went back in the Time Spiral era, and they gave us even more Fungus Thalids. Utopia Mycon. Here it's got all of that, and then sack. You can sack a Saproling to get a mana of any color. Thalid Shell Dweller, which I played a lot because it was an early blocker, 0/5, and the longer it sat there, it just kept making 1/1s. Vitaspore Thalid. Haste, it's not a bad ability. Spore Crown Thalid. Each other creature you control that's a fungus or a Saproling gets +1/+1. The fungus part, the Saproling, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Savage Thallid. Regenerate target fungus. Now, the Sporoloth Ancient is the king of all funguses. Yeah. Same thing, beginning of your upkeep, it gets a spore counter. But he also says creatures you control have removed 2 spore counters from this to put a 1/1 Sapling. Now, yes, this would be a prime deck for doubling season. I know that, but it's not in here because it would double the spore counters and then double the Saprolings. I know. Just didn't have it at the time. If you've got one, run it. Spore Sower Thallid. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on each fungus you control. Your whole fungi team. And of course, remove 3 counters and make a sap. Thallid Germinator. Sack a sap for +1/+1. Death Spore Thallid. Sack a sap, target creature gets -1/-1. And then, while a fungus, not a Thallid, Sporemund, landfall, get a sap. But one of my favorites is Michaeloth. Once you get all these Saprolings, you're going to play Michaeloth. Now, everybody lives the dream in their head, the magical Christmas land dream of devouring 10. But it's doable, but possible, not probable. 5, maybe. So, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1, a 1/1 sap into play for each 1/1 counter on Michaeloth. So, if we eat 5 Saprolings when it comes into play, it's going to have 10 1/1 counters on it, and we're going to get 10 saps every single turn, which is a little nuts. Now, these are not fungus, but these are, how shall I say, Saproling adjacent cards. We're going to start with Night Soil because I believe it is vastly overlooked, not just in this deck, but in a lot of green decks. It's graveyard control. For 2 green mana, we get enchantment. It says 1 mana : remove 2 creatures in any graveyard. Whew, boy, this is the zombie player's bane. Chris, how you like this one? Remove 2 creatures to get a sap. That's not bad. Slimefoot is our fun fungus guy. He is a fun guy, yeah. Whenever a sap dies, deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain a life. 4 mana : makes a sap. The Fungal Infection. Target creature gets -1/-1, make a sap. I figure this could kill a bird, an elf, or something. Or it's a pretty decent combat trick when they're not expecting it. Spore Swarm, just 4 mana for 3 saps. Sprout Swarm, man. Years ago, I made a infinite Sprout Swarm deck. It was wild. The Convoke stuff. Yeah. Doubling seasons and whatnot. Yeah. Convoke, buyback, make a sap. Corozda Guildmage. Fungal Rebirth. I mean, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If a creature died this turn, you get 2 saps. Well, I'm not going to play it unless something did die. I'm going to get them saps. Saproling Migration. Jade Mage. Golgari Germination. Whenever a non-token creature controls put to a graveyard, get a sap. And then Necrogenesis. Exile target creature card from a graveyard, make a sap. Now, what are we going to do with all these Saprolings, you say? We're going to go sideways with them. Beastmaster Ascension, Overrun, Vivian Stampede. We're just going to, crush people's dreams with plant life. That's how it bees. Now, I've got a few random things here. Fog. Fog is just so underappreciated. I told y'all that a couple weeks ago. Regrowth is good. Rushed Rebirth. Choose target creature. When it dies this turn, search your library for a creature with lesser mana value and put it on the battlefield. Now, this is a creature tutor. I'm glad it's an instant. So you hold it until something dies. It don't have to be yours. Choose target creature. Yeah, somebody else has got something big. Yeah. Hopefully what they've got is a 7 mana something, because we want to go get our big baddie 6-drop Singier the Dark Baron, because hopefully by this time we have our Skull Clamp and we've got our Saproling engine online, and we can just yeah, I like that extra ability down there. For it says, hey commander, y'all do this. Then other creatures that are not Slum Reaper, Fleshbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner. I mean, we don't have a problem sacking Saproling, so everybody else might as well sacrifice something too. Now, we do have the Pitiless Plunderer. It's kind of nice. Is that infinite? No, we have to have a whole bunch of saps. But another creature you control. So you spend 1 mana, equip the Skull Clamp to a Saproling. It dies. You draw 2 cards from the Skull Clamp. You get a treasure from the Pitiless Plunderer. Sack it to equip to the next one. So you can peel through all your Saprolings and draw twice that many cards real quick, as long as you get that +1/+1 guy in play. Now, Merit of Clan Neltoth, I don't have to explain to y'all why this is amazing, but she does great things for the deck. Another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter at the beginning of your end step. You just get dead dudes back. Otherwise, put it in your hand. Yeah, insane. Now, our removal. Like that wasn't enough, I know. Murder. Cast Down. Putrefy. I love Putrefy. Y'all know that. Return to Nature. Doomblade. Necrotic Hex. I'm good with sacking 6 Saprolings to get 6 zombies. Okay. Befoul here again. Destroy target land or non-black creature. I like that it's either or. It does deal with problematic lands. We have our Death Mutation, which is insanely expensive at 8 mana, I know. But you destroy a non-black creature and get X saps, where X is the creature's CMC. So it's not bad. I mean, 8 mana, it's not good, but... Then, of course, everybody's favorite, the Death Sprout. I put this in removal instead of ramp because the first 3... Destroy target creature. Period. Yeah. And then you get to go Rampant Growth. But let's look at our non-basic lands. We have the Golgari Guildgate, Foul Orchard, Golgari Rot Farm, Temple of Malady, Jungle Hollow, Path of Ancestry, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, Vivid Grove, Thriving Grove, and our Command Tower. Well, that is it for Nemata. I appreciate y'all watching, but we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.